Welcome to the Franchising 360 Show, the only show that takes you inside the world of franchising, with hosts Tim Parmeter and Danielle Wright.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 Show brought to you by Fran Coach. I am Tim Parmeter, and with me, as always, is Danielle Wright.
That's me.
Danielle and I, we've talked a lot on the Franchising 360 Show, which we're supposed to be taking a 360-degree view of franchising, and we realize it's probably been about 270 degrees of it, should you become a franchise owner, and which is obviously the bigger piece of the population out there, becoming a franchise owner. But what if you have a business and you're like, oh my gosh, should I turn this business into a franchise? There are so many things to think about. So many, in fact, that it's not a one, a two. This is going to be a 3-part series of things we're going to walk folks through.
Yeah, and hopefully we're not matchy-matchy on the other two.
No, we are totally matchy-matchy on the
okay.
others. That's how we're going to keep it straight. So, looking forward to this, and I know you are, because this is what you do on kind of the regular, with people working more on the franchisor side, and the creative shift division of Fran Coach is kind of your baby.
Yeah, I kind of say it's franchising the right way.
Oh, see, your last name was Wright. That's so
It's really not funny if I have to explain it to you.
No, it does kind of lessen it though. But no, there's so many things, and again, let's be honest, every industry out there probably has some things that are not great, right? But we really want to focus, and not just on the show, but what we do every day with Fran Coach and just our existence in this industry is try to promote all of the good that can be there, and help people get pointed in the right direction. Yeah,
well, and we've seen a lot of success, but we've also seen a lot of failures, and there's nobody there to help them keep themselves from being failures.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I always say, and this will come up as we go through this series, but if somebody's telling you something and it sounds too good to be true about, oh my gosh, you're going to turn your business and you're going to make billions of dollars, I mean, maybe, but let's dial that down a little bit and let's understand all of the pieces of it. Crawl,
walk, run, right?
Yes.
Same thing here.
Yes, indeed. So before we get to all of that, for this, it is our favorite segment of the show. It's
Our favorite?
It is my favorite. Yes.
Is it?
Yes, it truly is.
Because I get to tell you no?
Yes.
I love it.
It's awesome. But we are at the Friday Franchise Fun Fact with Danielle. Danielle, what you got for us tonight?
Okay. So, I got 4 options here.
Ooh.
Pick a number.
3.
What industry saw a 30% growth surge post-pandemic?
Almost all of them? 30%
Silly,
growth.
it says what industry? Do I really need to say these words slowly? What industry
Personal
saw?
care.
No. Do you want another option?
Your favorite part of the show.
I know. You have a favorite for a reason. I have a favorite for a reason. We're all
so
we're all here.
Not that
Nope.
fitness.
Nope. Do you want another option, or do you just want to give it up?
I give up.
Okay. The industry that saw a 30% growth surge post-pandemic was, drum roll please, home-based franchises.
Oh, okay. Do we know why?
No.
Why do you think?
I think it's because everybody was at home.
Well, and just you and I were talking about this.
We don't have to complicate this.
No, but we were talking about this with the franchise group that we work with, and how much like square footage of office space that they still had at this time. And you're like, we just don't need that. We all got very used to. We were already working.
And because you were already used to being at home, and then when people were going back to the office, they didn't want to go back to the office.
That it wasn't always really required.
But I don't want to own a business that I can't work from home at. So
again,
if I can do it from home, then great.
And the main reason why people become franchise owners is the control, and I want control of where I am.
Right.
I am at every
where
single day.
I'm required to be.
I love it. And we are required to go to commercial right now.
Oh, okay.
And so, but when we come back, we're going to start talking about things you need to think about to determine, hey, should you turn your business into a franchise? That's on the Franchising 360 show right after this. Welcome back to the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter alongside Danielle Wright. And this is part 1 of our 3-part series on things you need to be thinking about if your business is ready to become a franchise. And then if so, well, if not, then part 2 and part 3 may not be all that like crucial for you just yet. But again, sometimes it's not, and there's still the education piece to know, okay, well, if it's not now, what do I have to do to get there, and all of those things.
Right.
And so you've been on the franchisor side in some capacity pretty much your whole career.
Yep.
Big brands, small brands. What's maybe, before we get into some of the things, have you seen is there a common mistake businesses make as they are becoming a franchise?
I don't know that there's a common mistake, right? I think there are just those that, hey, I have this business, it does well. How do I replicate it? How do I put it out to market? Like they maybe don't think through all of the pieces and the minutia. They just know that I go in every day and I do this and I'm able to do that. And so, yeah, this is great. Or maybe my business is making $1 million. Okay, so anyone should be able to do this. I think a lot of times, like we've had guests on here that are franchisors, and they basically say, hey, they've had people ask them, can I franchise this?
Right.
Just because people ask doesn't mean that the answer is yes. So they all pretty much recover, but if the goal is to make this bigger than what you are, there are some steps that you might need to take to be able to get to that.
So what? Great. When somebody
Was that a good segue there,
no,
boss?
well, because I've got a business, right? And I'm like, geez, should I turn this into franchise? What are some things that I need to? Let's say I've got Fran Coach, right? Which I do.
Yes.
And I want like, hey, should I turn this into a franchise? What are maybe some of the first things I need to think about to determine if that's even something I could do?
Can it operate without you? Like
Okay.
how dependent
Usually
is
better
the
without
business
me.
with you? We have a whole readiness thing that we'll make sure that the viewers get access to. But is the model proven and profitable? Okay. Can someone else run it well? Could someone else do this somewhere else, wherever they may be? Have you documented the systems? Like, hey, step 1, step 2, there's step 2A, 2B. Is your business you dependent, right? And then do you want to be a leader? And I think that's the harder question. Like the rest of this is okay, I can check the box, I can check this readiness piece, but do you want to lead? And I think something that you and I were talking about in the Fran Coach model is you now have to realize you're operating a secondary business.
Yeah, no,
and that's the bigger piece.
Yeah, but stop on that for a second, because I want to come back to the leader thing too. But what do you mean by, because that's something I don't think anybody thinks about, turning their business into a franchise and then what that's like at the beginning. What do you mean you're running 2 businesses?
Well, so a franchise business is its own separate business. You've got your business, you're operating it, you're effectively a doer in your own business.
Right.
Can we agree
Right.
to that? So you're the one doing, you're the one also teaching, and you're like dispensing your knowledge, and that's great, and you're sitting in this avenue of a doer.
Right.
When you create your franchise business, you kind of have to pull yourself out of the doer space, and now you have to lead others to be doers.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit harder. You also have a separate P&L, you have a separate business entity. It is 100% a separate business.
Because your existing business, and like I've always jokingly just said, like, oh, I got Tim's Sandwich Shop that I've created, right? Well, that doesn't go away when I'm now having Tim's Sandwich Shop franchisor over here. So that's what yours really 2 totally separate. You got to keep the existing.
You got to keep the corporate entity running. Otherwise, what are you selling to a franchise owner?
Right. And again, that's also a part of that proof of concept. Hopefully it's probably fine if you have one location or unit, but you want some sort of.
I think we're going to talk about that in subsequent part of the series is, okay, what do I need to think of today? Like I'm running a sandwich shop. I'm running a mechanic shop. I am running a daycare, right?
Yeah.
Like what is it that makes this something that someone else can look at a book or watch a video and then do themselves?
Yeah. You talked about the leader side of things. And so somebody's sitting there going, well, I am a leader. I'm leading my team here in my what now becomes my corporate unit, right?
But that team you're paying.
Yes, you are, right? Leading other business owners
by example
is a totally different thing.
But right? You've got the leader that you are as the doer and paying people to execute on this piece. Franchise owners are choosing to, like, there's a choice element. You always talk about control, and I always look at it as it's a mutual choice. We are making a mutual decision to work together. But I need you as a leader to tell me, this is the model here. I'm not going to do it for you. Right. And a lot of times in the doer, in the corporate location, you can jump in and do.
Right.
But if you're leading a franchise organization, you're leading by example. So you need to show them what it means to be a leader there. So yes, you need to have that operational experience, but the reality is now they need to see you as this person, not the person telling them what to do, someone that's riding sidecar with them on the journey.
And leading an employee is totally different than leading an independent business owner.
And we talk about this a lot with Frank Coach.
Yeah.
And not to tell anybody, but
yeah.
you struggle sometimes with that. We've had those conversations of, you have this team of 10 consultants.
We've proven all of this stuff.
You've got this training, you got all the pieces.
But when you're an owner, like short of somebody totally damaging the brand,
right,
as the franchisor, if they don't want to do as well as you want them to, it's like, again, I always think it's like parent-child.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can see it for your kids and you want to like just do your homework or do this. You can't really do it for them.
Right. And it's like out of the checklist and readiness list of things that we have for owners that are saying, hey, maybe I want to franchise this. I understand that this is a whole new world.
Yeah.
Like there's the making the sandwich, there's repairing the car, there's taking care of the kids and their parents. Like totally get that. But now you have a new set of mechanics that you have to manage, and having your ducks in a row to be able to offer that to someone that wants to replicate it, that's a big piece.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about this a lot, and we brought it up a little bit on the show. Of people think about the like, okay, well, I want to become a franchisor, so I need an FDD, right? Which yes, you do. But there's a pretty big step before that.
Yeah, and I think that in the next episode that we're going to have about this is like talking about the details of becoming a franchisor. And part of that is the legal component. Yeah. So we have a series of things we'll walk through at that point. Yeah. But stuff that people need to think about now when you're, hey, I'm in my business. Hey, if I were to walk in, would you be able to give me a book that says, prepare the sandwich this way?
Right. And every little bit, but that's the thing I think, and this is where we can try to help protect people sometimes too. Like somebody may go, oh yeah, we'll just get you an FTD and you're a franchise. Well, yes, but that, again, the whole point of their franchise is you have a proven system and playbook.
Right.
How detailed do you have that documented?
Well, and what makes a proven system?
Right. What does?
The question is to anybody.
Yeah.
I can't make that decision. I had a conversation with a potential business that wants to become a franchise, and her piece of this puzzle is, should I? I said, let's be crystal clear. If you want to become a franchise, we've talked about it on numerous episodes. Yeah. We've talked about the Franchise 500. Like, not many businesses are not franchisable, right? Like, everybody will turn your business into a franchise for any amount of money.
Right.
I don't think that's a suggestion for most people. There are a lot of times that you should just operate your business, open a couple of other locations, and just be like replicate from that perspective. And for her, she had area people that are, managers of sorts, but she had to let me walk you through a lot of the details of how you can turn that person into a franchise owner, what have you. So it's not the instant jump in and do, but for business growth, you have to have a plan.
Yes. Yes. And our plan for right after the break is talking a little bit more about that, things to help you determine if this might be a path for you or a time for you to turn your business into a franchise. That's next on the Franchising 360 show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Franchising 360 show with Danielle Wright. I am Tim Parmeter, and we are discussing, we've got a business, should we turn it into a franchise or not? We're going to get into all the things. If the answer is yes, it's now. What are some things, how do we kind of know if it is that time? What are some things somebody should really kind of be analyzing within their business?
Honestly, I think people get into year one of their business, see some great success, and they're like, yes, let me go franchise that, right? The reality is you should probably be operating for 3 to 5 years in that business model so that you can go and look at your profitability, right? Has it gone up year over year? Have I seen the growth that I would see? Just kind of really analyze your P&L. Like, then secondarily, you should really consider what would it look like for you, yourself, to open a second location.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's right down the street. Doesn't matter if it's another state. Like, if you really are doing this with the intent to future franchise, like that should be the hashtag. Like, if you're going to be future franchising, then put the pieces in motion, like yourself, where the thing that we tell you to not be is dependent upon you.
Right.
But kind of let it be as you're proving out the model. Because what we know is that anybody that's going to look at purchasing a franchise license from you needs to see some kind of historic data.
Right.
Like, and there are a lot of brands out there that are operating less than a year or a year, and someone came around and say, let's franchise you. The second piece of this is money. Right. It's not free to turn your business into a franchise. So start thinking about or having the conversations, or hire a consultant to kind of, let's walk through what this cost would be and that capital layout over time. Do you have that now? Don't borrow money to do that, because you're then going to be 5 steps behind instead of 2 steps.
Right.
And it takes a long time for you to get to where you want to be from making, big bucks on the franchising side if you don't have those pieces in place first.
Well, and when you think of that second location, or when we say location, it doesn't always have to be brick and mortar.
It could be a second truck, right? It could be a second territory. It's whatever that may be.
I'm on the east side of town, now I'm doing it on the west side of town.
Correct.
Because again, the first thing people are buying into as a franchise owner is that system. And it's one thing, you've done it here.
Right.
But every business starts kind of bootstrapped. The owner's in there doing it.
Right.
And the systemization of that's a real test to see if you think about it, would you rather make a mistake and you're the one kind of owning that second location, or like, hey, I just suckered Bob into becoming a franchise owner and I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
And that's the biggest fear, I think, with a lot of franchisors now, is like why there's such 1% of the population is going to become a business owner.
Right.
Whether it's a franchise, they open their own, the lovely word entrepreneur comes out and says, hey, 1% of the population is going to do this. Why franchises, and why we've had them on the show telling you, is like there are specific people that can do this kind of thing that you need to be thinking of. Who do you want? How do I replicate it? Is that right? Because failures is going to happen.
Right.
And if you can not preemptively have that, like do the best you can to set those pieces together, then you'll have more success than you thought you would.
And every franchisor or franchisee we've had on this show,
on the podcast,
I've had on the podcast, we've ever met in our existence are going to tell you what's the main thing that they're looking for in that franchise. Well, we want somebody to follow they're all going to say it a different way, but just basically do what you're supposed to do. We've laid out the plan. Follow it.
They've taken the time, what we're telling the viewers right now. If you have a business and you want it to be franchised, every franchise has taken the time to document the steps, to prepare. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. It's kind of idiot proof.
Yeah. And and I can speak to this from some of the growth we've had over the last 6 months at Fran Coach, and creating a whole learning management system for growth and all of this stuff. And I'm the one that created it, so it's all in my head. And I'm documenting it, and it makes sense to me. And then here comes somebody from the outside that's never seen it before, and they're like, and again, sometimes it's like, oh, that makes sense, or you start seeing gaps, or they don't understand something because I've explained it at this level
you've
versus
been the
down.
doer.
Correct. And where
rising up out of the doer space is so
hard to do. And back to that leadership, you also have to want to do that, right? Because there is a control.
And you have to be okay with it.
Right, because there's
wanting it and being okay with it.
There's a level of control that you are giving up in your baby that you created to have somebody else come in. Yes, they're paying you money and all that stuff, but it's your business, it's your baby, it's your brand. That's like more than anything, even just from my own personal experience, is you got to really think through, are you okay with that?
Well, and if you look in franchising in general, how many brands are out there that are still owned and run by the original founder.
Yeah.
A lot. And then that kind of also, you can see some trends of they only get to a certain size of franchise owners.
Yeah.
And there's always this, I worked for a company at one point, and I'm like, you're never going to get past this point if the person sitting at the helm is still the same person.
Yeah.
They're just
the founder's trap.
You have to be okay that if I'm building this for a future exit. Just like we tell, like, do you say this to your clients? Like, go with the end in mind.
Right.
Like, are you going to want to run this business for the rest of your days? Probably not.
Right.
So what's the exit? Why are we not thinking? We think about, hey, as we get older, dying, the same thing's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to retire at 65 and get my gold watch and my pension, right?
Like, and you think about it, you put it out there, but why are you not doing that for your business?
Right.
And so even when you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to turn this business into a franchise, now you're running two businesses. What's the end in mind with both? Because now you have this corporate location that you're running. What are you going to do with that?
At some point, you're probably a couple areas you're relinquishing control. Because if you stay over here in the corporate, then who's running the franchise business? And if you leave the corporate to run the franchise business, somebody else has now taken over your existing
So I have an example. We had a client at Create a Shift that she had a business, opened a couple of different locations, and then she became a franchise. Great. So we started awarding franchises. Right. She sold some of her corporate locations, and she was not thrilled with the performance of those corporate locations to a franchise owner because they weren't doing as well as she was doing. And so there's that. You have to be okay with that because that's the trajectory of your growth. It's like, if you really want this franchise, you're just gonna have to be okay with average performance.
Correct. And in the second and third part of this, we'll get more into the financial thing, and the financial piece is way more than just what it costs to get an FDD.
Right.
And yes, that's important. You got to think about that. But I think
because there's always legal with anything.
The time component, where you're spending your time, and the control you are giving up in probably multiple areas. To me, I just think that's the biggest thing that nobody talks about. So I'm glad we were doing so because you've got to kind of mentally prepare for that, and that's not easy.
And really, the bigger picture of this is if you think that I have a great business, I want to franchise it, fine, but know that franchise is a long-term game, right? Not a short-term win. And there can be, you will hear stories, you will see them that there was short-term win, but it really was a small win. It's not like you won the $1 billion Powerball.
Or it was a short-term win for long-term, like, struggles because you did things the wrong way at the beginning.
You're going to give something up no matter what.
Yeah. So, and lastly, it's okay if it's not the time to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, there's nothing wrong. I've heard you say this numerous times.
It's kind of like setting yourself up to, like, grow a couple of locations for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a franchise.
And maybe you shouldn't. If it's something you should do, then you probably should tune in next week as we dive more into.
If you check the list and everything seems right, let's go.
You're ready to. So come back next week. We're going to talk more about that here on the Franchising 360 Show.
Thanks again for watching the Franchising 360 Show, brought to you by FranCoach. Danielle and I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the franchise industry. In between our episodes, if you would like to learn more about franchising and the ways in which FranCoach can help, there are a few places you should check out. First, be sure to listen to the award-winning Franchising 101 podcast. You can find this on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Next, check out the FranCoach YouTube channel, FranCoach for You. You can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 Show, plus tons of other content. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out the book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. And finally, when you are ready to take that first personalized step and explore franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at FranCoach. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow. Until next week, for Danielle Wright, I'm Tim Parmeter. Thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 Show.